Welcome to today's session. Before going into the today's session, just we'll have a recap of our first session. What did we learn in our first session, children? We have learned the definition of reproduction and the vegetative reproduction, sexual reproduction, and two different types of plants, that is flowering plants and non-flowering plants, and their examples. Okay, so before entering into our today's session, let's have a recap of sexual reproduction definition. What is the sexual reproduction? The process by which plants reproduce seeds and the seeds grow into new plants is called sexual reproduction. The process by which plants reproduce seeds and the seeds grow into new plants is called sexual reproduction. So as we know that flower is the reproductive part of the plant. So in today's lesson, let us learn more information about the flowers in today's class. So today's session topics are flowers, structure of a flower, types of flowers, functions of flower. Let us learn more about all these in today's session. So you will be able to learn, after today's class, you will be able to define the flower, identify different parts of flowers, understands the functions of different parts of a flower, list different types of flowers, differentiate unisexual and bisexual flowers. Look at this picture, children. What is this picture? It's a flower. What is a flower? A flower is defined as modified shoot. What is a flower? Flower is defined as a modified shoot. What is shoot? Shoot means it's a young branch. Shoot is a young branch. Why the flower is a modified shoot? Because flower is a specialized structure which can reproduce seeds and the seeds can grow into new plants. Hence, the flower is the reproductive part of a plant. See this picture, children. What is this slide? Identify the parts of flower. In this slide, flower picture is given. You have to identify the parts. Here, the flower has basically 4 parts. What are the parts? You have learnt in your previous class, children. So let us guess the answers. I'll reveal the answers in the next slide. What is the first part, second part, third part, and fourth part? Here are the answers. First part is sepal. Second part is petal. Third part is stamen. Fourth part is pistil. I repeat, first part is sepal. Second one is petal. Third one is stamen. Fourth one is pistil. Let us see more about these flowers. All flowers develop from buds. See here, children, in this picture, what are you seeing? All these green structures, all these are buds. So before blooming into the flower, it is a bud. So all flowers develop from buds. See flowers. What is this picture, children? There are different types of flowers in different colors, in different sizes, with different fragrance. Of course, we cannot smell the fragrance here, but we can see the different sizes, shapes, and colors in this picture of flowers. Different plants have different types of flowers. They are in different shapes, sizes, colors, and fragrances. What do you mean by fragrances? Fragrance means smell. Fragrance means sweet smell. Most of the flowers are either brightly colored or white. Most of the flowers are either brightly colored or white. Look at this picture, children. Structure of a flower. The flower is attached to the stem or the branch by the pedicel. See, this part is called pedicel. What is it, children? Pedicel. The pedicel has a receptacle. See here, the receptacle or thalamus. The pedicel has a receptacle or thalamus. The receptacle is a swollen part. The receptacle is a swollen part which holds four whorls of flower. Those are sepals, petals, stamen, and pistil. What is this part, children? Which is connecting to the stem and the flower is the pedicel. And the pedicel has a swollen part called receptacle. What is the other name of receptacle? Thalamus. And what is the function of this receptacle? It holds the four whorls of the flower. Those are sepals, petals, stamen, and pistil. Let us see the next slide. What is this part, children? See, it's a sepal. What is it? Sepal. The other name of sepal is calyx. The other name of sepal is calyx. The first whorl of the flower is calyx, and it consists of a green leaf-like structures. It protects the flower during the bud stage. What is the function of the sepal, children? It protects the flower during the bud stage. Children, do you know that this sepal can produce food for the flower during the bud stage because it is green in color. Green in color means it has the chlorophyll pigment. So it can prepare the food during the bud stage. Let us see the next slide. Petals. What is the other name of petals? Corolla. What is the other name of petals? Corolla. Petals are the second whorl of a flower. It is the most attractive and colorful part. And these petals are often brightly colored, scented, largest part of a flower. Petals attract pollinators such as bees and butterflies. Why these bees and butterflies are attracted by petals, we will learn in our next session. So let us see the next slide, children. What is this third part called as stamen? What is it? Stamen. Stamen is also called as androecium. What is it? Androecium. And this is the third whorl of the flower, and it is the male reproductive part. It is the male reproductive part of the flower. Look at this picture, children. This is the stamen, and this stamen consists of two parts, that is filament and anther. Filament and anther. Look at the filament. The filament is a long thin tube. How is this filament? It is a long thin tube, and the free end of this filament has an anther. And how is this anther? Anther is a bilobe structure or a sac-like structure. How is this anther? It's a bilobe structure or a sac-like structure. And this anther contains the pollen grains. This anther contains the pollen grains. Look at this here picture, children. These are the pollen grains which are looking yellow in color. And pollen grains are yellow powdery substance, and these pollen grains contains male gametes. These pollen grains contains male gametes. Now let us see the next slide. What is this picture, children? Let us see this picture. This is pistil. What is this? Pistil. Pistil is also called as gynoecium. Pistil is also called as gynoecium. This is the fourth whorl of the flower, and this is the female reproductive part of the flower. This is the female reproductive part of the flower. And pistil consists of one or more carpels. Pistil consists of one or more carpels. Each carpel consists of three parts, that is ovary, style, stigma. Carpel consists of three parts: ovary, style, stigma. Look at this picture, children. You can able to see the three parts here: ovary, style, stigma. Ovary is the swollen part which is located at the base of the carpel, and this ovary contains the ovules, and ovules are also called as egg cells, and these egg cells contains the female gametes. And the next part is style. The next part is style, and this style is the second part, and it is the middle part of the pistil, and it is the middle part of the pistil, and it is a long tube-like structure. This style is the long tube-like structure. And the third part is stigma, which is looking a small disc-like structure, which is looking like a small disc, and it helps in receiving the pollen grains during the pollination. It helps in receiving the pollen grains during the process of pollination. Look at this slide, children. Types of flowers. Basically, the flowers are divided into two types: bisexual and unisexual. Why they were divided into bisexual and unisexual means, basically the flower will have the reproductive parts, but all the flowers may not contain both of the reproductive parts in it. So based on the consisting of the reproductive parts, they are divided into two types. Those are bisexual flowers and unisexual flowers. Bisexual flowers are also called as complete flower or perfect flower. Examples are hibiscus, rose, pea, mango. Unisexual flower is also called as incomplete flower or imperfect flower. Examples are watermelon, bitter gourd, maize, and papaya. Let us learn about these bisexual and unisexual in our next slides. See, look at this picture, children. These are the bisexual flowers. Look at this picture. Here you can see all the four parts: sepal, petals, and here are the stamens, and here is the pistil you can see. So in this flower, both the reproductive parts are present. Stamen is present, pistil is also present. So that is why these flowers are called bisexual flowers or perfect flowers or complete flowers. It means both the reproductive parts are there. That is why it is called as a complete flower. The flower contains both stamen and pistil in the same flower is called a bisexual flower. Examples are hibiscus, rose, pea, mango, and many examples are there. Let us see some more examples of bisexual flowers. See, rose. Look at this. You can see both the stamen and the center one is the pistil. And this next one is hibiscus. You can see even hibiscus is also having both the parts. And guava. Guava is also a bisexual flower which contains both male and female reproductive parts. And this is the pea plant flower. This flower also has two reproductive parts. Observe the parts, children, properly. Let us learn about unisexual flowers in our next slide. See, here are the unisexual flowers. Unisexual flowers means they may contain any one reproductive part in the flower. Look at this picture, children. This is the cucumber flower. Here, this is the male flower because it only contains the stamen. It only contains the and the female flower. This is the female flower because it consists pistil. So the flower may contain either the male or female part in it. The plant may have either male or female flowers on it. And these unisexual flowers are also called as imperfect flower or incomplete flowers. Let us see the examples: watermelon, bitter gourd, maize, papaya. So in our next slide, we see the pictures of bitter gourd, maize and papaya flowers. See, this is the first picture of maize. Look at this tip of this plant. This part is the male reproductive part. It is the male flower. It is the male flower, and this is the female flower. So on one plant, two different flowers are there. One is male flower, the other one is female flower. Let us see the bitter gourd. See, this is the male flower which is having only stamen, and this is the female flower which is having only pistil. And now let us see this papaya flowers. Here you see, this is the stamen, and stamen is the male part, and pistil is the female part. Let us see the functions of flowers. So what are the functions of flower? Basically, we know that flower is the reproductive part. And what is the process it goes in the flower is reproduction. In that process, what happens? Pollination and fertilization occurs in the reproduction. See here, this is the process of pollination and this is the process of fertilization. About these both the topics we will be learning in our next session. Now let us learn few more facts about the flowers. See, what is the name of this flower? Titanarum. It is a titanarum. This is the tallest flower in the world. It is 10 feet high and 3 feet wide. It smells of decaying flesh, hence called as corpse flower. What is it? Corpse flower. Titanarum. It's the tallest flower in the world. So we have seen the tallest flower in the world. Now let us see the smallest flower in the world. What is the smallest flower in the world? Is Ulfia. What is the smallest flower? Ulfia. This is the smallest flower in the world. It is bright green oval plant, is about the size of a rice grain. That means very small. It's a very smallest flower. So what is the smallest flower? Ulfia. Now what is the national flower, children? Our national flower is lotus. What is our national flower? Lotus is our national flower. Do you recognize these parts, children? See, what are these parts? You recognize because already you have studied about this in this session only. Okay, I'm revealing the answers. The parts shown are style and stigma. And this flower is saffron flower. What is this flower? Saffron flower. So the dried stigma and style are used as spices for seasoning and coloring in food. We usually prepare sweets, and in that sweets we use this saffron styles and stigmas as a coloring agent. Okay, children? Now let us see the terminology of this session. First word is whirl. What is it? Whirl. Then sepal or calyx. Sepal or calyx. Petal or corolla. Petal or corolla. Stamen or androecium. Stamen or androecium. Pistil or gynoecium. Pistil or gynoecium. Filament, anther, carpel, stigma, style, ovary, ovule, pollinators, pollination, fertilization, bisexual flower, unisexual flower. See, we got so many new terms in this session, children. So you all practice properly with these words. Now let us have a recap of this session point-wise. Flowers are the reproductive part of the plants. Flowers are the reproductive parts of the plants. Flower is attached to the plant with the help of pedicel and bears four whorls, namely sepal, petal, stamen, and pistil. Sepals are green and protects the parts of a flower before it blooms. The other name of sepals are calyx. Petals are colorful and attract insects for pollination. Petals are also called as corolla. Petals are also called as corolla. Stamen is the male reproductive part of the flower and consists of filament and anther. Stamen is the male reproductive part of the flower and consists of filament and anther. Stamen is also called as Androecium. Pistil is the female reproductive part of the flower and consists of one or more carpels. Pistil is the female reproductive part of the flower and consists of one or more carpels. Pistil is also called as Gynoecium. Pistil is also called as Gynoecium. Carpel consists of stigma, style, ovary. Carpel consists of stigma, style, ovary. There are two types of flowers, bisexual and unisexual. There are two types of flowers, bisexual and unisexual. Bisexual flowers have both stamens and pistil. Unisexual flower contain either the male or female reproductive part. Unisexual flowers are also called as imperfect flowers or incomplete flowers. The two main processes that happens in a flower that results in reproduction are pollination and fertilization. The two main processes that happens in a flower that results in reproduction are pollination and fertilization. Hope you all understood today's session, children. We'll be back with the third concept in the next session. Bye. Stay home.